Welcome to Gems of Motherhood. I'm your host, Sharon Khan. I'm here to connect you with some amazing gems of mothers from all walks of life. Each week, you'll hear interviews as well as resources and actionable tips that you can implement in your daily life to be the best gem God has called you to be. Thanks for walking this journey with me today. Stay tuned to the end of the show for a very special gift. Now, let's get into episode 3 with Wendie Pett.
So there's a lot of dabblers out there, like, the word, I'm trying to eat healthier. I'm trying to work out, or just that word try. That try versus do is really what's keeping people stuck.
Well, I'm so excited because we have Wendie Pett to speak to us about becoming your best self in body, mind, and spirit. She has a nationally syndicated television program that airs every Saturday on the NRB network, Uplift TV, WLCN, and IBN television. In addition, she also contributes weekly on KTIS radio in the Twin Cities as Coach Wendie and is featured columnist in Veg World magazine, The Christian View, Best Ever You, and many more. So welcome, Wendie. It's so great to have you on the Gems of Motherhood podcast.
Sharon, it's awesome to be here. Thanks for having me. How fun.
Absolutely. Wendie, I love this topic that we're going to chat about today. And now, I know you teach the balance of mind, body, and spirit through your Visibly Fit wellness program. And you're very passionate about motivating people to make fitness and good nutrition part of their daily routine.
100%. Yes, so, very passionate.
That's great, and this is such an unusual season that we're living in right now. Mm-hmm. Families are forced to stay in and they are eating more and maybe even eating more junk, at least on the East Coast, How do we become our best self in body, mind, and spirit?
Well, I think it takes, depending on where you live, right? It takes a shift in mindset. It takes creativity and thinking through the situation a little bit differently. So, if you recall, going into the grocery stores or whatever, all of the like fast food kind of things, the junk foods were the first things to go, like the chips and the just the junky things that you can just grab.
The comfort
foods, right? And so, I was like, oh, cool. I've got all kinds of vegetables and fruits I can grab, not a problem. And so, because they're perishable. So people were thinking things that don't spoil and that will last a long time. So we go into that kind of deprivation mindset of, I have to have something that lasts. And really, if we start to shift our mindset and think ahead of, oh, wow, if I could just prepare and batch cook healthy quantities of healthy, nutritious food, I can freeze it. I can juice it. I can, you can prepare in a different way, and then you don't have to have that starvation kind of mindset, right? But it's really thinking, okay, can I collectively do a co-op? Can I join in with a co-op for my vegetables, or that kind of thing, or is there a neighborhood garden that I can garden in if you don't have the land, depending on where you're located? We actually just did a raised garden here. I'm in Minnesota, and we just did our raised garden here this year, so I'm super excited about that. But I really think that that's where we're going to see a shift. I mean, like you're in New York, so you're probably going to see a lot more rooftop gardens, right. More than ever, because people understand the value and they value fresh and nutritious foods, because really the body can heal itself when we're fueling it with the proper nutrients and vitamins that it deserves. And so I think we're catching on slowly but surely, right? That we are more in control than we realize. And when we have a different mindset, it helps to get out of that panic kind of that state of mind, right?
Yeah. It is a lifestyle change, so to speak, right? Because, you're kind of shifting from eating the comfort food, the bad snacks, to an avocado or celery. Right. How do you make that shift?
Yeah, well, I really believe, and you may not like this and your listeners might not either, but I believe that moderation kills momentum. It just has to be, I'm doing this. I am eating clean and I am moving my body. No excuses, right? Because when we start to dabble and we just have maybe that one bite of ice cream or that, one bag of potato chips or whatever, it can take you down that unhealthy spiral where you don't want to go ultimately.
Right.
So it's like, okay, is that really worth it? And the answer is no. In the moment, it might be yes, because you're basing that decision on a feeling rather than what's really going to fuel your body best, so that you can be a better mom and a better wife and a better contributor to society. Quite frankly, we really, our health is our true wealth. It really is. So when we start to get down into the minutia of it and discover our real why, like, why am I thinking it's okay to self-sabotage, or why is it okay to do this or that? Then you start to unravel maybe old habits. And then that way you can start to understand, notice, and then get on a different trajectory so that you can start fueling your body best and moving your body best.
I love what you said. Moderation keeps momentum.
Kills momentum.
Kills momentum. So does that mean I can't have ice cream?
Well, you get to determine that for yourself. But here's the deal. There's a lot of healthy replacements, okay? So if you are an ice cream person, and there's a lot of people that are, I get that, then you can actually replace with a healthy replacement. So for me, if I'm really craving ice cream or something, you can do like almond milk with a frozen banana and some cacao powder, and put some cinnamon in it and blend that up in the NutriBullet or Vitamix, and it's got a ice cream type of consistency. And really that will soothe that craving, so to speak, because you're not craving the ice cream. Okay.
Right.
The problem is that so often when we reach for certain things, like let's say a lot of women, they reach for chocolate, right? What your body is really missing is magnesium. So you're really deficient in certain nutrients. And so we need to reach for what fuels that craving and satisfies it best. And that would be dark leafy greens and that kind of thing. So it's really understanding what that craving means and not reaching for the counterfeit comfort.
That sounds really delicious, by the way.
It is. It really is.
So let's talk a little bit about fitness too.
Yeah.
There are moms out there who are trying to keep fit during pregnancy and after pregnancy. How did you do it? And how would you suggest for moms to do it?
Well, I am a more mature mom since my son will be 20 this year. But I remember I would still get up, and at that time I was going to the health club and I was running on the treadmill, and I still danced. I remember I was a little over 8 months pregnant, and I was doing a dance recital, like hilarious.
Wow.
I stayed active. Yeah. I mean, I was huge. And I just constantly stayed active. So I was walking, I was running, and I didn't let the pregnancy put me into a place of, oh, I deserve to go and splurge and eat all kinds of junk food. So again, you want to think of, because maybe you're a new mom and you're just newly pregnant or wanting to get pregnant. Don't give yourself permission to just gorge yourself just because you're feeding for two. That's the time more than ever that you want to fuel your body best because of the epigenetic factor, right? Like, because how we're feeding our body, our children receive that same kind of nutrients, and you can turn on and off certain gene receptors, not just for you, but for your baby. So it's real important. But it's the consistency. So how I did it may not be how everybody does it or will do it. But what I'll tell you is that it's never too late. So don't think that it is. Just think of taking one simple action step today. And I think that's the biggest thing is don't look at that big end goal. Like maybe you need to release 100 pounds. Maybe it's 50 pounds, whatever. That can really feel daunting if you just look at that big overarching goal. But if you say, okay, you know what, my goal for the next, between this month, okay, my goal for this month is to release 7 to 10 pounds, whatever. Just make it really realistic so that you feel accomplished when you achieve it. But it takes that daily discipline and consistency, even in just taking a walk.
Right.
Finding that me time and making that me time one of your most important appointments will honestly set you up for success in your family. Because if mama ain't happy, nobody's happy, right? Like,
it's true.
Like your child and your husband, if you're married, you guys, they deserve you showing up in your best health and in your best health, mind, body, and spirit. So part of that is giving yourself permission to take care of yourself. It's okay. It's really okay.
I love that. I mean, it is never too late. And, consistency really play a huge part. I think, especially when it comes to wellness and fitness. I've always worked out, for probably 20 something years of my life, not giving up my age. But since I've had my daughter, it's been a little bit more difficult. So for about 2.5 years, it's been hard to put working out to be part of my routine.
Sure.
So for some of the moms who are always on the go and juggling multiple things at one time, how can we incorporate fitness into the motherhood lifestyle?
Yeah. Okay. That's a great question, because you can actually incorporate exercises while you're doing something else, because let's face it, women are typically multitaskers anyway. So we've got that pretty much mastered. So I teach a program called Visibly Fit, and it's just using your body as your gym. So there's no equipment needed. God really did make us in such a way that our minds are so powerful that we can think about having a weight in our hands, so to speak, like having, a physical weight there, even though we're not actually holding it, and lift that weight without it being there. It's mind-muscle connection. I can talk a little bit more about that later, but it's a lot of moving isometrics and isometrics. But while you're cooking, while you're, right there at the stove, maybe stirring a pot of whatever, you're doing squats. When you blow dry your hair, do squats, stand up and do calf raises. It really is working your workouts into your busy day. I'm really a big fan of creating neurological associations with exercise and things you're already doing anyway. So you should be drinking a lot of water. You should be drinking half of your body weight in ounces every day. That's a great goal that helps to flush the toxins out of your body and helps to get rid of some of that excess fat as well. But that's going to put you into the bathroom a little more frequently as well. So with that said, why not do 1 or 2 exercises every time you go to the bathroom? You see what I'm saying? So then you start to attach exercise with something you're already doing. And then it becomes just something that you incorporate sporadically throughout your day. Because, as a new mom, or just a mom in general, even if your kids are teenagers and you're running them from here and there and everywhere, you may not have one big chunk of time to work out.
Right. Absolutely.
That's okay. I mean, it's amazing how you can get your heart rate up in just 5 minutes by doing some high intensity cardiovascular moves, from punch outs to jump squats, just simple moves. Maybe you have a younger kid and they're taking a nap. Make the most of that nap time. Maybe it means letting that load of laundry go at that moment in time, because your health is more important than that load of laundry. Okay. So really incorporating yourself in, but that 5 minutes can make a world of difference. So getting creative.
Very interesting, that 5 minutes. I'm so used to just being in the gym and just working it out. And, at moments of times, there are days that I'm like, telling my daughter, come on, let's exercise. And I'll play the music and I'll be doing squats, and I'm trying to get her to do squats with me. And she'll just stare at me. And I'm like, oh my goodness, is this even working?
Oh my goodness, Sharon, first of all, I have to say way to go, because that actually is, you are planting seeds to your daughter that your self-care is important, which will encourage her and instruct her to take care of herself as she gets older. So, more is caught than taught. You don't have to say a word, but but children are always watching us. We are models.
Right.
And so the more you show up for yourself, the more she will show up for herself as she gets older and will take good care of herself. So I think keep doing that. Keep dancing. Keep doing those squats in front of her. Perfect.
That's great to know. Yeah, there are days whereby she'll be like, "Come on, mommy, exercise." You know?
See, it's already working.
So, but that's great. I will try to keep it up. I mean, I won't try. I'm just going to set it aside and keep that up.
Oh, there you
Like
go.
you
You're going to
said.
do it. There you go. I love it. Now, here's the best thing to do on that, Sharon, is to actually have a specific time and pin yourself in, P-E-N, pin yourself in to your calendar, because really you are one of your most important appointments. So too often we as women tend to let other things override because, we're created, I think, to want to please, right? And so that's great, but we really have to show up by taking care of ourselves first, because if we can't show up fully and our fullness and into our greatest, healthiest capacity, we really can't care for the others around us to our fullest. So pinning yourself in on that calendar would be so important, even if that means getting up like 15 to 30 minutes earlier in the morning.
Right. I completely agree. We are, and I hope my listeners will try to do that from now on.
Yes.
So you may have probably answered this question, but I'm still going to ask you again. The $1 million question is, how do I lose those excess weight?
Yes. Well, I think the first thing is knowing that a really great workout starts from a work in. So it's an inside out job. So a lot of times we're so fixated on the number on the scale. We're so fixated on how we look in our clothes. I mean, those are those trigger points that may really cause that desire for change. But ultimately, we need to get to the root of why do we really want to be healthy, whole, and complete? Is it so that we can show up to be a better parent? Is it so we can show up to be a better spouse? Is it so we can have more energy, or so that we don't have aches and pains, or so that we can have a longer lifespan? All those things. You got to get to the real root of the why, not just to look cute in an outfit. I mean, that's awesome. Yeah. But it's got to be so much more, because that deeper why will propel you to do the hard work. It'll propel you to get up early in the morning when nobody's awake, to get up and go for that run or walk or do that Visibly Fit workout or whatever it is, right? And do your devotions and do all the things that we desire to do. If the pain is great enough, you will change.
Right. I agree. From the inside out. And you said, what is your why, whether it's to be a better parent or a spouse. But, 1 Corinthians 6:19-20 also says,
yes.
Or do you not know that your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit within you?
That's right.
Whom you have from God. I mean, it's so important what we put in our bodies and how we use it, right?
100%. And taking care of your body through working out and also through fueling it best is an act of worship. So if you start seeing it as that, and that you will be drawn closer to God, closer to your Creator, when you are dismissing all the things that are pulling you away from that relationship. Because every time you're, stuffing your body with things that don't fuel it well, that cause a breakdown at the cellular level, it's causing a breakdown in your relationship with your Creator. So it's a different way of looking at it, but it's so true. It really is.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, it's always such a great reminder, because our lives, we are to put God first.
Yes.
And so in putting God first, we are to glorify God in our body, just as the scripture says. And if we don't do that, then we fail, right?
Right.
And secondly, we're there for our husband and our family and our kids. And so I absolutely love what you said, it's from the inside out.
Yeah.
And
Sharon, it's love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, and soul, right?
Right.
And then love your neighbor as yourself. Okay. So how can you love your neighbor if you don't love yourself? So I think a lot of times we miss that part. Like we just skim over it. Like, oh, wait, I'm supposed to love myself. And then that way I can love my neighbor, because a lot of times we're so busy trying to love our neighbor, but we're not loving them very well, because it's maybe only a one-way relationship, or we're not showing up in our best self. So taking care of yourself really will make a difference. So it'll create a ripple effect.
Yeah, that's great. Absolutely. So I have a fun question for you.
Okay.
tell me, what's your favorite mom hack?
Well, there's a lot of them, but I think the biggest thing is preparation. I love to do salads in a jar, because it saves a lot of time. When you're peeling, prepping, and chopping and all of that, pick one day to do that for the entire week, because you're already in the kitchen doing it. When you make salads, like I said, I like to do salads in a jar, because you're already making one salad. Why not make 5 or 6 and have them ready to go? That way you just dump them out and there's no excuses. You've got your salad in for the day, right?
Yeah.
I think that saves time, and that's a great mom hack. Any way that you can save time will be better, or do some batch cooking so you're not in the kitchen all week long. And that way you're spending more quality time with your family. You're not feeling frustrated because you're always in the kitchen or whatever, or you're not knowing what to fix or what to eat. It's already planned. It's already ready to go, and you don't have that pressure on yourself. So I think even having grab-and-go baggy snacks ready to go, so that maybe you and your kiddo are getting ready to go to the park, but you're like, I forgot to, what are they going to eat? Well, you can just grab a go baggie full of grapes, and maybe it's got carrots and celery and broccoli and all those healthy things. Or maybe it's even as simple as grabbing an apple, but it's all ready to go in a bag, and you just grab and go. So you have them all set up for the week, and that's a good mom hack.
Sure. Yeah, that's awesome. So is there anything else you would like to share with other gems of mothers out there about becoming your best self in body, mind, and spirit?
Yeah, first of all, I love the name of your podcast, Gems of Motherhood, because it is one of the best titles besides Child of the Most High that we could have is being a mother. And it is such a gem of an opportunity and of a title. And so I would just say that no matter where you are in this stage of your journey of being a mom, cherish every moment. And I know we hear that all the time. We're like, yeah, sure. But I'm telling you, cherish every moment, because every moment is so different from the next.
Right.
And when we are filled with gratitude, and we're not resentful, and I'm kind of speaking from an experience myself here at the moment, but we're not resentful in how it's not looking. Okay, we're grateful in how it just is, then we can kind of rest in that. And a lot of times we put so much pressure on what the family unit is supposed to look like, how I'm supposed to show up as a mom, what my child is supposed to act like and be like. And there's all these little parameters we start to put on ourselves. Or maybe I'm just speaking for myself here, but I think we as women, we put a lot of extra pressure and stress on ourselves.
Very true.
I would say give yourself grace and love as you go through the journey, and especially as your health and your wellness is concerned. Make it fun. Make it where you're not sitting on the sidelines with your kids at the playground. Make sure you're getting up and running around and sliding down the slide with them. No matter how silly you may look or feel or whatever, it doesn't matter. It's about creating memories, and those memories will last a lifetime. And so you're going to have fun getting healthy with your kid because you're running around and playing, but you're creating memories, and that's what it's about. So don't get too caught up in the how. Just go and do. Just go and do.
Love that. I mean, kids thrive when you play with them and you're just spending time with them, right?
Yeah. A friend of mine wrote a book years ago, and let's see, the title is To a Child, Love is Spelled Time, Time. And I believe that that's not just with children, but I think it's just people in general. If we can remember that quality time and just being really present, really, it trumps everything. It really does. You don't have to have a perfect protocol in how you do things. It's just spending time together and learning from one another and loving each other where they're at. So, and again, that goes with loving yourself where you're at and giving yourself permission to say, you know what? I love me right now, and I'm going to continue to press on and step forward and keep moving my body and eating well and reaching my goal, but loving myself through the process.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. Speaking on time, we're just about to wrap up the show right now. So thank you so much, Wendie, for coming on the show with us.
You're very welcome.
So many gem nuggets that you had shared with us today.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me. And if you want to learn more, I don't know if you have it on your show notes, but they can go to wendipett.com. Also, for a great green drink detox, they can go to liveimmune.com, and there's a free recipe there for them.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. This pretty much wraps up our podcast for today. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Gems of Motherhood podcast. Now, I know you guys waited for a long time. This is our special gift to you. Luna Performing Arts is downtown Manhattan's newest performing arts center. They offer a wide area of dance and movement for both adults and children, including ballet, jazz, hip-hop, contemporary, Chinese dance, and story time and movement. Mention GEMS10 for a 10% discount off their summer program. Registration begins this week. You don't want to miss it. If you're wanting to connect with more amazing Gems of Mothers and more resources, head over to gemsofmotherhood.com, where you can subscribe to the show. That's where you'll find show notes and actionable tips and any links mentioned by our guest. Most importantly, I hope you will find inspiration and learn to cultivate your own journey. You are loved. You are an incredible gem to God. He knows you intimately. He knows what you're going through, and He knows what you need. Remember, you are fearfully and wonderfully made in Him. Be sure to tune in next week for our next episode.